It started with a knock. A soft, gentle knock that didn't sound like trouble. Just a kind reminder that life still existed outside my quiet house. I walked to the door in my robe, my hair still damp from the half-hearted shower I had taken that morning. When I opened it, I expected to see the mailman or maybe a neighbor, but it was Jake, my best friend's son. 19 tall, a bit sweaty from the summer heat, wearing a white tank top that clung to his chest and hugged his arms in all the right places. His curls were messy, his smile boyish. "Hey, Miss Naomi," he said, lifting a small box. "Mom asked me to drop this off for you." His voice was deeper then. I remembered I blinked for a moment before smiling Jake. "Oh goodness, I haven't seen you in months." He handed me the package, and I could smell the faint scent of soap and cologne mixed with sun. Yeah, being busy with school and stuff. But Mom said this was important. "Come in," I said, stepping aside. "Let me at least offer you some lemonade." He hesitated. "Only if you're sure." Insist, he stepped inside and something about the way he moved, so relaxed, so confident, made my throat dry. Maybe it was the way his tank revealed just enough to imagine everything else. Or maybe I'd just been lonely for too long. I poured 2 glasses and handed him one. Our fingers brushed for a split second. He looked at me with those deep brown eyes and smiled. "You look great." By the way, I laughed a little too quickly. This old rubber disagrees. "No, seriously," he said, taking a sip. "You still got it." The words settled between us like smoke, dangerous sweet smoke. We sat in the living room. I crossed my legs, feeling suddenly aware of my robes. Looseness. Jake's eyes flickered just once to my bare thigh before he looked away politely. I cleared my throat. "So how's school?" "Boring," he said with a grin. "I'd rather be doing something with my hands." I swallowed hard. The air changed. Maybe I was imagining it. Maybe it was just me and my crazy thoughts. But I felt it. I took another sip of lemonade, trying to keep my tone light. "You're good with tools, aren't you?" "Yeah." He said I helped my uncle with plumbing jobs sometimes. Just like that. An idea slipped into my mind. Innocent on the outside, but laced with something darker underneath. "My shower's been acting funny," I said. "Low pressure, and I hate cold water. You think you could take a look?" He sat up straighter now, "If you're not in a hurry." He grinned. "Lead the way." I walked him to the bathroom. My robe shifted with every step, and I didn't bother fixing it. He knelt by the tub, twisting, knob-checking pipes. I stood behind him, watching the muscles in his back move under that thin tank top. "You've got a leak under here," he said, reaching further. "Probably needs a washer replaced. Can it be fixed?" "Yeah, might need a run to the hardware store," though I crouched next to him closer. Then I needed to be our shoulders touched. I felt his breath pause for a second. He looked at me, and this time he didn't look away. Our faces were too close, too quiet. I felt his eyes travel over my lips, then down the loose fold of my robe. I should have pulled away. Should have said something, but I didn't. Neither did he. The silence spoke for us. "Thanks, Jake," I whispered. For what his voice was low like a secret. For making me feel something again. He didn't respond. He just stared at me. And in that moment, I knew things had changed. That night, I lay in bed touching my lips. Like he had kissed them. He hadn't, not yet. But I wanted him to. I shouldn't have. He was my best friend's son. Young, handsome, curious, but desire doesn't follow rules. And I had just opened the door to something I couldn't close. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about. Jake. His eyes, his hands. The way he looked at me like I was more than just Someone's mother, more than just an old widow in a silk robe. I stood in the mirror brushing my hair. My robe tied, just a little tighter today. Still, I noticed how my skin glowed like it remembered his warmth, even though he hadn't touched me. I heard a knock at the door again. My heart skipped. Was it him? I opened it, and yes, there he was. Jake Butt. This time he wasn't in a tank top. He wore a black t-shirt that hugged his chest jeans hanging just right. In his hand, he held a little brown bag. "Brought the washer," he said, lifting the bag. "Thought I'd finish fixing your shower, let out." A small laugh to hide how fast my heart was beating. "You're too kind." He stepped inside again like he'd always belonged. Here I watched the way he moved, comfortable, confident with a quiet strength. We walked to the bathroom again, my robe brushed against my thighs. His eyes noticed but didn't linger. He knelt by the tub, opened the bag, and got to work. I sat on the edge of the tub watching him. I was trying not to stare, but I failed. "You keep looking at me," he said without turning. I smiled. "You're easy on the eyes." He looked up slowly, meeting my gaze. "So are you." That silence came again. The kind that pulled you in deeper than words ever could need. "A towel?" I asked, suddenly standing up too fast. "Yeah." He said, "My hands are wet." He turned, walked to the linen cabinet. My robe slipped slightly off my shoulder. I didn't fix it. When I turned back, around he was standing there closer than before. Water dripped from his hands. "Here," I whispered, handing him the towel. He took it, but instead of drying his hands right away, he reached up and gently wiped a drop of water off my collarbone with his fingers. His touch was soft. Too soft, I inhaled sharply. "Naomi," he said, almost like a question. I looked into his eyes. There was no guilt, just heat, want, wonder. I didn't stop him. His hand moved to my waist. And then, just like that, his lips were on mine. It wasn't fast. It wasn't wild. It was slow, sweet testing. I melted into him, my hand running up his chest, feeling his heartbeat race just like mine. He pulled back just a little. "I've wanted to do that since yesterday," he said. I swallowed hard. "I've wanted that since before you knocked." That confession cracked something between us. He kissed me, again, deeper this time. My robe fell open, and I didn't stop it. His hands explored me, like I was a book he'd been dying to read, every curve, every inch. Every quiet moan I tried to hold in, I was a woman edging. Not just a widow, not just someone's mom. I was desired, craved to live. Later we lay on the soft bathroom rug. Bodies tangled, hearts thudding. Neither of us spoke right away. Finally, Jake whispered, "Was that okay?" I turned my head and looked at him. "Better than okay." "I didn't want to push you. Headed, you didn't," I said. "I wanted this as much as you did." He smiled, aerial, glowing smile that made him look even younger, but somehow stronger. "We probably shouldn't tell anyone," I said. He nodded. They wouldn't understand. I looked at the ceiling. I don't even understand it, but I don't regret it. And I didn't, because in that small, warm bathroom, I had found something I thought I'd lost: desire-touch connection. Something more than loneliness. And it came in the form of a 19-year-old boy who made me feel like a woman again. I woke up the next morning wearing Jake's black t-shirt. It smelled like him, clean, young, and full of mischief. He had left after our moment in the bathroom, with a nervous smile and flushed cheeks. But before he walked out, the Dokori pulled me into one last kiss. Slower this time, longer, like he wanted, to remember how I tasted now as I walked barefoot into my kitchen, his shirt falling mid-thigh. he still felt the warmth of his hands. The tingling hadn't gone away. I poured myself. A cup of coffee sat at the counter and stared out the window. The sun was already high. Birds were chirping. But inside me a storm had started. What did we do? He was 19. My best friend's son. He should have stopped it. I should have pushed him away. But I didn't because for the first time in years I'd been touched, really touched. Not just skin to skin, but heart to heart. He made me feel seen. Around noon my phone buzzed. A text. "Jake, can I come over later?" I stared at the message for a moment. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. I typed, "Yes, doors open." My heart beat faster the moment I hit send. By 2:00 p.m., he was standing in my doorway again, holding a bag of groceries. "Figured I'd cook you something today," he said, stepping inside. "You cook now?" I asked, raising a brow. "Not well." He grinned. "But I try." I laughed and led him to the kitchen. He set the bag down and pulled out pasta tomatoes, a small block of cheese. He looked so innocent in that moment, so normal, like this wasn't strange, like this was what we always did. He boiled the pasta while I chopped the tomatoes. We worked side by side, our shoulders bumping now and then. Sometimes our hands touched when we reached for the same spoon. Little sparks. Harmless, but hot Naomi. He asked quietly, "Did I cross a line yesterday?" I paused, I looked at him, and I saw more than just a teenage boy with a crush. I saw a man full of questions and curiosity, and maybe, just maybe, something deeper. "No," I said, softly, "you didn't cross anything." We both stepped into something together. Heno did. But the silence that followed told me he was still unsure. "I know it's not normal." He said, "You're older. You're you." "I'm what?" "Beautiful, smart." "Out of my league," he blinked, then smiled. "You're sweet." He looked at me like he wanted to say more, but instead he stepped closer. His fingers reached out and touched my cheek. "Can I kiss you again?" he asked, voice barely above a whisper. I nodded. And just like that our mouths met again. Softer this time, less rushed, more careful. His arms wrapped around my waist and I felt myself melt against him. My hand slipped under his shirt, fingers exploring the lines of his stomach. He gasped softly. That sound stirred something deep inside me. We kissed until the water boiled over and hissed against the stove. Later, we sat on the couch with plates of half-eaten pasta in our laps, laughing about how bad it tasted. "I think we should have ordered pizza," I teased Hesmold. "Next time I'll let you cook." His hand rested on my bare thigh, now fingers drawing light circles. I didn't move, I didn't flinch. I wanted it. He needed it. "Are you scared?" he asked suddenly. I thought for a moment. "Yes, but I'm not sorry." He leaned in, kissed my shoulder, me neither. There it was again. That pull, that ache between something innocent and something we knew would get us in trouble. But in that moment, it didn't matter. All that mattered was the way. His touch made me feel like I was blooming again. Alive, wanted, loved. No, not yet. But maybe someday. That night he didn't leave right away. We lay in bed, his chest against my back, his breath on my neck. His hand found mine under the sheets and held it tight, warm, safe. And I realized. Then this wasn't just a moment. This was becoming something more, something dangerous, something real. To all my incredible Ella Infidelity story subscribers, thank you for staying until the end. You are the heartbeat of this channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and become part of family that dares to feel love and explore the forbidden. Let's dive into the final chapter. The morning sun slipped through my bedroom window, casting golden stripes across the sheets. Jake was still asleep. Beside me, his hand resting gently on my waist, his breath soft on the back of my neck. He looked peaceful, so young, so vulnerable. I watched him for a long time. This boy, this man, my best friend's son. How did we get here? How did one package turn into passion? I slid out of bed slowly, careful not to wake him. As I stood by the mirror, pulling my robe, around me the weight of what we were doing finally settled heavy on my chest. What would people say? What would she say? His mother, my closest friend for over 20 years. How would she look at me if she knew her son had kissed my lips, touched my body, whispered my name while I lay, trembling beneath him? Would she ever forgive me? Jake woke up not long after. He came up behind me in the kitchen, wrapped his arms around my waist and pressed a kiss into the crook of my neck. "Morning," he said, sleepy-eyed and smiling. "Morning," I whispered. But my voice was different, tense. Careful, he noticed right away. "What's wrong?" he asked. I turned in his arms, held his face in my hands. "Jake, we need to talk." His smile faded. He knew this can't keep happening. I said softly. "We crossed the line and I don't regret it. But it's complicated, too complicated." He didn't say anything, just stared into my eyes like he was searching for something to hold on to. "You're 19. I added. "And I'm me." "You're not just anything," he said quickly. "You're everything I've been thinking about since the moment I walked into your house." His words pulled up my heart, but my fear was louder. "What if your mom finds out?" I whispered. "What if this ruins everything?" He stepped closer, his hands gently gripping my hips. "Then we'll be careful." "But how long can we keep hiding?" I asked. He hesitated. And in that pause we both knew this thing between us wasn't just lust. Anymore, it was danger. It was fire with no water nearby. 2 days passed. I didn't call him. He didn't text. I kept telling myself it was over. But then on the third afternoon, my phone rang. It was her, Jake's mom. My heart leapt into my throat. I answered, trying to sound normal. "Hey, sweetie," she said, cheerfully. "Jay told me he came by to fix your shower. Thank you for letting him help. He said he felt so grown up around you." I swallowed hard. "He was a big help." I say it slowly. I swear that boy's growing into such a gentleman. She went on. "He told me you made him pasta too. Said it was awful but sweet." I laughed nervously. "He's not wrong." There was a pause, and then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You know," she said softly, "he talks about you a lot, like a lot more than just a neighbor should." My breath caught. I don't know what's going on. "Naomi," she continued, "but you're like a sister to me, and I trust you." Guilt twisted in my stomach. Trust, that was the word that broke me. That night I texted Jake, "We need to stop." He replied almost instantly, "Why, your mom is starting to suspect. This can't go on." There was a pause. Then he sent, "But I love you." My fingers froze over the screen. Love, my eyes welled up. No one had said that word to me in years, but I knew what I had to do. "Then love me enough to let this go." I replied before it destroys everything. His final message came through. "You'll always be the first woman who made me feel alive." I haven't seen Jake since that night. Sometimes I catch myself standing by the window waiting for a knock that never comes. But I remember the way he touched me, the way he kissed me, like I mattered. And for that short time, I wasn't just a widow with a broken shower. I was a woman rediscovering what it felt like to be wanted. Sometimes love doesn't come in a forever package. Sometimes it's just a moment, a stolen kiss, a whisper in the dark, and that has to be enough.